What is up, guys? We're back with another video, and today we're checking out this case right here. This is the Corsair iCUE Link 3500X RGB. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, before we get started, there are three different versions of this case. So there is the plain Jane 3500X. That's going to ship without any fans or anything like that. So if you didn't want to be in the Corsair ecosystem and maybe you wanted just some different fans or something like that, you can get the plain 3500X. After that, there is a 3500X ARGB. So that's going to ship with three of Corsair's RS 120mm fans. Those just have the 3-pin connector, so you can easily connect those to your motherboard or other RGB controller. And then finally, we have the case that we have here, which is the iCUE Link 3500X RGB. That's going to ship with three of their iCUE Link RX 120mm fans, as well as the iCUE Link controller. As you can see, we have the white version of the case, but it's also going to come in black as well. As far as size goes, I'll go ahead and put the official dimensions up on the screen like I always do. And that size is, I would say, your traditional mid-tower size, so you shouldn't have any problem getting this to fit on your desk. If we start at the front of the case, we have that clear seat of the back glass panel. One thing you'll notice is that we don't have a pillar here, so you have unobstructed views into the case. Towards the bottom of the case, there is a small Corsair logo, and then right under it, you'll find a pull-out filter, which extends the entire length of the case. The front panel of the case can be easily removed, but there's no notches, so you kind of just want to get your fingers down in there and apply some pressure, and it will go ahead and pop off. It is easier to remove if you have the top panel or the side panel removed, but putting it back on, you just line it up and you sort of just pop it right back in. Moving up to the top of the case, most of it is ventilated. On the far right side, we do find some connections and buttons. These include a large power button, two USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port, combo headphone and microphone jacks, and a smaller reset button. As I said, the rest of the top of the case is ventilated, and you can see that Corsair is using this sort of cool design on the ventilation. That's on all the ventilation throughout the case, and I do think it looks pretty good. Now, to remove this top panel, there is a tab back here. You just pull up on the tab and the panel releases. Now, one thing you don't want to do is if you're ever moving your system around, you don't want to like try to grab it and lift up, you know, because if you lift up on this is going to come off and you may drop your system. So definitely don't do that. With this top panel removed, we can see we have a filter here. This is a magnetic filter, easily removable, so you can go ahead and clean it. Now up here, we do have our cooling mount, and as you can see, we do have a 360mm radiator installed. That is the max length of a radiator up here. As far as fans go, you can do two 140mm fans or three 120mm fans. And if you're wondering, this cooling bracket is not removable. It is built into the case. Of course, the main side panel of the case is a glass panel. And looking at the case from the side, you can really see what that pillarless design gives you, as you have nothing blocking the view of your hardware in this case. Removing the side panel is really easy. There's a small notch here at the back, and you just put some pressure on it and the panel will release. Now the panel will sit here. Just be careful, but it will sit there if your hands are full or something like that. And you can easily pull up and remove the panel. Putting it back on is just as easy. We just line up the notch at the bottom and we just press it right in and you're good to go. As we come to the back of the case, we have a pretty standard design. Towards the top, we have a rear fan mount that supports a 120mm fan, our motherboard mount, some ventilation, and then your power supply mount at the bottom. The opposite side panel is a steel panel, and towards the front, you'll find a large ventilated section which covers the side mount. The side mount will be used as an intake since the front panel is all glass, and of course, we can see our three pre-mounted fans here. Removing the opposite side panel is much like the main side panel. There's a little notch back here, and you just pull on it. Now, you want to be careful because this one does not sit here, so if I let it go, it's gonna go ahead and fall, but really easy to get it removed. And the same thing when you put it back on, you just line up the notch at the bottom and you just press it, and it's gonna go ahead and lock into place. As we look inside the case, we have an all white interior in a sort of 2-compartment design. Typically, we see the power supply cover extend the entire length of the case, but Corsair has opted to cut it about 60% of the way. This gives you room for a 120 or 140 millimeter fan in the front section of the case with unobstructed airflow. The power supply cover does have ventilation on it, and you can install 2 120 millimeter fans here. There's also screw-in holes for an optional vertical GPU mount, as well as 2 large cable routing holes. Of course, pre-installed in the side mount, we have 3 of Corsair's iCUE Link RX 120 fans. These are of course 120 millimeter. While Corsair has taken the hard work out of mounting these, they do simply snap together and you have a single connection coming off of them, which really cuts down on cable mess. If you're wondering, this side mount will also support 2 140 millimeter fans and radiators up to 360 millimeters. For motherboard support, this case will support mini ITX, micro ATX, ATX, and extended ATX motherboards. You will notice quite a lot of cutouts in the motherboard tray. While some are for cable routing, most of them are for back connect motherboards like ASUS's BTF and MSI's Project Zero. For those wondering about GPU support, the case will support graphics cards as long as 410 millimeters. With the opposite side panel removed, we can see how the rest of the case is laid out. The first thing that caught my attention was the iCUE Link system hub, which is mounted in a small recess on the storage bracket. It easily mounts there as it's magnetic. This iCUE Link system hub features 2 ports, so you can easily connect more iCUE Link products quite easily. Talking about that storage bracket, it is removable with a single thumb screw. It's going to support 2 2.5-inch SSDs or 2 3.5-inch hard drives. We can also see how all of the cabling from the case gets routed to the back. Definitely nice to see white cabling in here as well. The bottom of the case is of course where our power supply is going to go. In this case, we'll support ATX power supplies as long as 180 millimeters. Corsair was nice enough to send over their iCUE Link Titan 360 RX RGB liquid CPU cooler. Since this is a 360 millimeter unit, it was quite easy to install in the top of the case, and we just daisy chained it right into our fan so it's easily connected to the iCUE Link system hub. When it comes to testing, we're gonna be testing both temperatures and noise levels. So here's a full breakdown of our test system. When it's all said and done, I think this is a pretty solid mid-tower case. And I really like that Corsair didn't really make you go fully into their ecosystem if you didn't want to. You can just get the case without any fans, and it's pretty affordable. If you want to go the fan route, you can go the ARGB route with the 3-pin connector, or you can get this version of the case, which comes with the iCUE Link fans and iCUE Link system hub. And that makes it really easy to stay in that Corsair iCUE Link ecosystem because you can easily daisy chain devices into it. We installed their 360 millimeter AIO and we just daisy chained it right into the iCUE Link system hub and everything was good to go. Incredibly easy to do if you did want to stay in that Corsair ecosystem. As far as the case goes, I really like the design. The pillarless design means that you can fully see inside the case, no problem. Unobstructed views of all of your hardware, which is great. Talking about hardware, this is going to support everything. So really long graphics cards up to 410 millimeters, extended ATX motherboards, back connect motherboards, full-size ATX power supplies, like everything is going to go ahead and fit in here. As far as water cooling support, you can do a 360 on the side mount and a 360 up top. You can see we did install that 360 up top, no problem. And I really like this case. Like I said, there's not much to not like about it. If anything, I really would have liked to see a rear fan. While they do include the 3 fans for the intake, we really don't have any air coming out. So that would have been nice. And then all of the cable routing holes, they don't have rubber inserts. So that's something you might want to consider, even though of course that metal's rounded. So you're really not going to, cut your cables or anything like that. It's just nicer to see, them covered with those rubber inserts. But beyond that, I think this is a really good case for what it is. And again, it really allows you to show off all of your hardware. Now, if you have any questions about this case, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. I will have links below to our full written review of this case and where you can go ahead and pick it up. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next video.